Are you struggling to find new ideas for your paintings? Watercolor painting offers a unique and wonderful experience with the paints flowing, the colors bleeding into one another, and it's a medium that's maybe hard but also easy at the same time. It's the kind of medium where you get to relax, let go, and just watch some paint flow. So in this video, I'm going to give you some ideas to get started with watercolor painting if you have no idea what to paint. So let's dive in. This first one I'm going to show you is the squiggle. I'm using a watercolor pencil and I'm just going over the page and just drawing a random squiggle all over. There's no real rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. It's just a squiggle around the page. Next, I'm getting out the colors that I've chosen. I've chosen a green and a blue. And I'm going to go in with my favorite paintbrush and just paint it in. For the greens, I've used a sap green and a viridian, and for the blues, I've used ultramarine and cerulean. You can use whatever colors you want to. These are just the colors that I chose today. And the whole fun is just to go in and paint. Follow inside the squiggle or outside the squiggle, whichever one you want. I've done inside the squiggle. And I'm just going to paint the colors next to each other and watch them flow and blend. This is meant to be a very relaxing exercise and also one to help you feel the paint. It can be a warm-up exercise, or it can be something just for fun or random practice. The whole point of this is to enjoy yourself, mix bright colors, paint second layers if you want to, work quickly so that the paint moves with each other and blends together, and then let it dry. This next idea involves quickly painting a series of horizontal lines and then joining the wet lines together. It's lines and dribbles. And because this process happens while the paint is still wet, all the different colors merge together and they create an interesting blend of color and texture. While I was painting, I also lifted my paper up so that I could get the dribbles to go down in a haphazard way, added more paint, added more water, and I just watched the colors flow. I used pure colors from my palette, which I knew would create a bright and saturated result. For this one, you don't need to use a pencil, you don't need to evenly space the guidelines, you just need to go by your feeling, use your 3/4 inch flat brush and just paint your lines quickly. The whole idea is for the paper to remain wet and for the colors to mingle together. Load your brush with a strong mixture of yellow paint or any color you like. Load your brush with a strong mixture of yellow paint and apply a nice wet line across the top of the page. Rinse your brush and move on to the rest of the colors. The different colors will blend together across the thin vertical lines. To boost this process, tilt your board upwards and use gravity to encourage the drips of the paint to flow down. Add a little more water and watch the drips drip. Tilt the paper around, repeat the process as you like to make the vertical dribbles. Use plenty of clean water so you don't get a brown mix. And just have some fun. Now you can leave the paint to dry, and as the pigments settle, they will create an attractive random blend of diffused colors. It's typical to the way that watercolors flow when they're wet. And you can do this with any color combination. Just have some fun. For this next one, we are using ink and paint. I'm painting random blobs or squiggles around the page, whichever one you like to do. I'm adding in a whole range of different colors. I'm making pools and puddles of paint. A fun technique for wet in wet. And then I'm going to let that dry. Once that is dry, we're going to go in and find random shapes. So this one is a little bit like reverse coloring. We did a video on that before. If you want to go back and watch that one, it was also super fun. So this one is a bit of an extension on that. So once you have your paint dry, you're going to see what kind of blob monsters you can create. You can create bugs, you can add in whatever kind of faces or character type-esque features you want to have. This is just about using your imagination and finding the blooms and the backgrounds from your first wash. I've decided to go in with monsters, and I did eyes and hats and bow ties, and I just created these little characters. This creates some beautiful results, all kinds of different effects. You've got backwashes and feathered effects, and the very nice array of interesting textures. Some places are harder than others, and I'd outline some. There was a whole lot of different techniques that created these beautiful features, and I used that to create these little bugs. I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. Which of these exercises did you find the most fun? Are you going to be playing around with your paints and having some fun? Each of these painting ideas make unique and beautiful characteristics of wet watercolor. When your brush marks are really wet, you get all these colored washes that flow into each other and mix on the paper. This was one of the most fun things to do with watercolor. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video and get to try out some of these techniques. Don't forget to comment down below, give this video a like if you found some inspiration from it, and I will see you in the next one.